Hi, my name is Camille, and I will be reading 1 Samuel 13 to 14 in week 13, day 4 of our Tanakh series, Reading Through the Bible. Get ready for drama, faith, and heroics. We're diving into the wild story of King Saul's struggles and Jonathan's bold moves. Let's see how trusting God makes all the difference in the midst of battles and royal drama. 1 Samuel 13. Shaul was years old when he began his reign, and he had ruled Israel for 2 years, when he chose 3,000 of Israel's men. 2,000 of them were with Shaul in Michmas and in the hills of Bethel, and 1,000 were Jonathan in Givat Benjamin. The rest of the people he sent back to their respective tents. Jonathan assassinated the governor of the Plishtim in Giva. The Plishtim heard of it, so Shaul had the shofar sounded throughout the land, saying, "Let the Hebrews hear." All Israel heard, and Shaul had assassinated the governor of Plishtim, and thus made Israel a stench in the nostrils of the Plishtim. So the people rallied behind Shaul in Gilgal, while the Plishtim assembled themselves together to make war on Israel. 30,000 chariots, 6,000 horsemen, and an army as large as the number of sand grains on the seashore. They came up and pitched camp at Michmas, east of Beth-aven. The men of Israel saw that their options were limited, and that the people felt so hard-pressed that they were hiding themselves in caves, thickets, crevices, watchtowers, and cisterns. While some of the Hebrews crossed the Jordan to the territory of Gad and Gilead, but Shaul was still in Gilgal, where all the people were eager to follow him. He waited 7 days, as Shemuel had instructed, but Shemuel didn't come to Gilgal, so the army began to drift away from him. Shaul said, "Bring me the burnt offering and the peace offerings." And he offered the burnt offering. As soon as he had finished sacrificing the burnt offering, there was Shemuel. He had come, and Shaul went out to meet and greet him. Shemuel said, "What have you done?" Shaul answered, "I saw that the army was drifting away from me, that you hadn't come during the time appointed, and that the Plishtim had assembled at Michmas. I said, 'Now the Plishtim will fall on me at Gilgal, and I haven't asked the favor of Adonai.' So I forced myself and offered the burnt offering." Shemuel said to Shaul, "You did a foolish thing. You didn't observe the mitzvah of Adonai, which he gave you. If you had, Adonai would have set up your kingship over Israel forever. But as it is, your kingship will not be established. Adonai has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and Adonai has appointed him to be prince over his people, because you did not observe what Adonai ordered you to do." Then Shemuel left Gilgal and went up to Givat Benjamin. Shaul counted how many were still there with him, about 600 men. Shaul, Jonathan his son, and the men with him took up quarters of Givat Benjamin, while the Plishtim remained in camp at Michmas. Then raiding parties began coming out from the camp of the Plishtim, 3 of them. One group turned toward the road leading to Ophrah in the territory of Shaul. Another group took the road towards Beatoren, and another company took the road toward the desert throughout the territory overlooking Vadi Vozim. Now there was no metalsmith to be found anywhere in all the land of Israel, because the Plishtim had said, "We don't want the Hebrews making themselves swords or spears." So whenever any of the people of Israel wanted to sharpen his hoe, plowshare, axe, or pick, he had to go down to Plishtim, where the exorbitant prices were 2/3 of a shekel for filing a pick or plowshare, and 1/3 of a shekel for filing an axe or setting an ox goad in its handle. Thus, when the time came to fight, no one in the army of Shaul and Jonathan was equipped with either sword or spear, although Shaul and Jonathan his son did have them. A garrison of the Plishtim had gone out to the pass of Mikmas. 1 Samuel 14. One day, Jonathan, the son of Shaul, said to the young man carrying his armor, "Come, let's go across to the garrison of Plishtim on the other side." But he didn't tell his father. Shaul was waiting at the far edge of Giva under the pomegranate tree in Migron. The force with him numbered about 600 men. Ashiah, the son of Ashitov, Ichovad's brother, the son of Pinchas, the son of Eli, the Cohen of Adonai in Shiloh, was carrying a ritual vest. No one knew that Jonathan had gone. Between the passes by which Jonathan was trying to cross to the garrison of the Plishim, there was a rocky spur on one side and another rocky spur on the other side. The name of the one was Bodsetz, and of the other Sene. The one spur rose up on the north in front of Mikmas, and the other on the south in front of Giva. Jonathan said to his armor-bearer, "Come on, let's go across to the garrison of these uncircumcised people. Maybe Adonai will do something for us, since Adonai can rescue with a few people as easily as with many." His armor-bearer replied, "Do everything you think you should. I'm with you, whatever you decide." Jonathan said, "Here, we'll cross over to those men and let them know we're there. If they say, 'Wait till we come to you,' we'll stand still where we are and not go up to them. But if they say, 'Come up to us,' we'll go on up, and that will be the sign that Adonai has given us victory over them." So both of them let their presence be known to the garrison of the Plishtim, and the Plishtim said, "Look, some Hebrews coming out of the holes they've been hiding in." The men of the garrison said to Jonathan and his armor-bearer, "Come up to us. We want to show you something." Jonathan told his armor-bearer, "Come on up after me, for Adonai has handed them over to Israel." Jonathan climbed up using his hand as well as his feet, with his armor-bearer behind him. The Plishtim fell before Jonathan, and his armor-bearer following him finished them off. That first slaughter of about 20 men was accomplished by Jonathan and his armor-bearer in a space of only half as long as one side of the area a pair of oxen could plow in a day, about 200 yards. There was panic in the field camp among all the Plishtim. Likewise, the garrison and the raiding party panicked. Besides all this, there was an earthquake, thus it grew into panic caused by God. Shaul's men on watch in Givat Binyamin could see the enemy camp scattering and running in all directions. Shaul ordered the forces with him to call the roll and see who was missing. So they called the roll and found Jonathan and his armor-bearer not present. Shaul told Ashiva, "Bring the ark of God here." for at that time the ark of God was with the people of Israel. But while Shaul was talking to Kohen, the uproar in the camp of the Plishtim continued and kept getting louder. Shaul said to Kohen, "Put your hand down." Shaul and the entire force with him assembled and went to battle, but they found the Plishtim all fighting each other in utter confusion. The Hebrews from the surrounding countryside, who had previously been with Plishtim and had gone up with them into the camp, deserted and went over to Israel with Shaul and Jonathan. Likewise, on hearing that the Plishtim were fleeing, all the men of Israel who had hidden themselves in the hills of Ephraim pursued them in battle. So Adonai saved Israel that day, and the battle spread as far as Beit Aven. Israel's soldiers had been driven to exhaustion that day, but Shaul issued this warning to the people: "A curse on any man who eats any food until even, when I will have finished taking vengeance on my enemies." So none of the people even tasted food. Now the people came to a forest where there was a honeycomb on the ground. When the people had entered the forest, they saw there the honeycomb with honey dripping out, but no one put his hand on his mouth, because the people feared the oath. But Jonathan hadn't heard his father charging the people with the oath, so he put out the end of the staff in his hand, dipped it in the honeycomb, and raised it to his mouth, whereupon his eyes lit up. But one of the people said in response, "Your father strictly charged the people with an oath, a curse on any man who eats any food today, even though the people are fainting with hunger." Jonathan answered, "My father has brought trouble to the land. Just look how my eyes have lit up because I've tasted a little of this honey. How much greater would the slaughter of the Plishtim have been today then, if the people had eaten freely of the spoil they found with their enemies?" That day they had attacked the Plishtim from Michmas to Ayalon, but the people were very exhausted. So the people rushed at the spoil, seizing sheep, cows, and calves, slaughtering them on the ground, and eating the flesh with the blood. Shaul was told, "Look how the people are sinning against Adonai, eating with the blood." He said, "You have not kept faith. Roll a big stone to me immediately." Now Shaul said, "Go around among the people and tell them, each of you is to bring his cow and his sheep and slaughter them here. Then eat. Don't sin against Adonai by eating with blood." So each person brought his animal with him that evening and killed it there. Shaul erected an altar to Adonai. It was the first altar that he erected to Adonai. Shaul said, "Let's go after the Plishtim by night. We'll plunder them until dawn. We won't leave one of them alive." They answered, "Do whatever seems good to you." But the Kohen said, "Let's approach God here." Shaul consulted God. "Should I go down in pursuit of the Plishtim? Will you hand them over to Israel?" But he didn't answer him that day. Shaul said, "Come here, all you heads of the people. Think carefully. Who has committed this sin today? For as Adonai, Israel's deliverer, lives, even if it proves to be Jonathan my son, he must be put to death." But no one among the people answered him. Then he said to all Israel, "You be on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side." The people replied to Shaul, "Do what seems good to you." Shaul said to Adonai, the God of Israel, "Who is right?" Jonathan and Shaul were chosen by lot, and the people went free. Shaul said, "Cast lots between me and Jonathan my son." Jonathan was chosen. Then Shaul said to Jonathan, "Tell me what you did." Jonathan told him, "Yes, I tasted a little honey with the end of the staff in my hand. Here I am. I'm ready to die." Shaul said, "May God do the same to me and more also if you are not put to death." Jonathan. But the people said to Shaul, "Must Jonathan die, who has accomplished this great deliverance in Israel? Heaven forbid, as Adonai lives, not one hair of his head will fall to the ground, because he worked with God today." In this way, the people rescued Jonathan so that he didn't die. Then Shaul stopped pursuing the Plishtim, and the Plishtim returned to their territory. So Shaul took over the rulership of Israel. He fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, the people of Ammon, Edom, the kings of Zobah, and the Plishtim. No matter which way he turned, he defeated them. He demonstrated his strength by attacking Amalek, and he saved Israel from the power of those who were plundering them. The sons of Shaul were Jonathan, Yishvi, and Malchishua, while the names of his two daughters were these: the name of the older, Merav, and the younger, Michal. Shaul's wife was named Achinoam, the daughter of Achimatz. The commander of his army was named Avner, the son of Ner, Shaul's uncle. Kish was the father of Shaul, and Ner, the father of Avner, was the son of Aviel. As long as Shaul lived, there was bitter war against the Plishtim. Whenever Shaul saw any strong or courageous man, he recruited him into his service.